Hello, Minnesota Ice Occupation Journal for January 30th, 2026 is about 11:30 p.m. Central Time. Today was a quieter day here on the east side of St. Paul. I'm not sure why that is. I think the feds are toning down a little bit in the light of the immediate media scrutiny they're facing, very negative press. I don't trust them for a moment that they won't ramp it up any moment now. That's why we're out there. I was out for about 2.5, 3 hours today on patrol in the early evening. Um, we saw a couple lone ICE vehicles, but not any big convoys or anything. As far as general state of things, I had a friend ask, "What do you want people outside of Minnesota to know for this?" I want to know just how pervasive this occupation has been. Like it impacts every facet of life. Like my son, his bus to school is almost half empty. So many students aren't attending for fear and safety. They're doing remote learning or they're gone. They've left the state or worse, right? His classrooms are empty. Um, Almost everyone I know when we're driving around, our heads are on a swivel, looking at every vehicle for the possibility of being an ICE vehicle, looking to take one of our neighbors. Um, Businesses are shuttered. There's several restaurants that are immigrant owned that are just closed down indefinitely because either their workers have been uh, kidnapped, deported, or they just don't feel safe coming back right now. Even people of color, when they are shopping at local markets, you see them like when they leave the locked door of a mercado because it has to be locked now. They're looking over their shoulders as soon as they leave the building to see if they can safely make it to their vehicle. This is not sustainable or normal. We hear helicopters flying overhead all the time. Um, it doesn't bother me as much as some people, but I also was stationed on an air base in the Marine Corps for almost 4 years. So I got really used to military aircraft being overhead all the time. But my wife notices it, my son notices it, my neighbors certainly notice it. It's not normal and it's pervasive. And that's something that wears on a community. And this is happening all over Minnesota and especially in the metro area with the helicopters and such. Um, yeah, it's intense. I will say, mental health update. I did an early evening patrol and I went to support local theater community again. One way we're going to fight all of this is with community. And one of my personal, most important communities for me is the theater community. And at the History Theater, one of my friends, actor, writer, playwright Andrew Wheeler, has the full length version of his phenomenal play from Minnesota Fringe a few years ago called Whoosh. It's a story about an Irish immigrant in the 19th century that has the knack for survival and telling a great story while doing it. And it really hit home, even though this show and this run had been planned for well over a year, that it is coinciding with this ice occupation. And it's a story about how an immigrant came to this country, became enshrined in its history between the Civil War and uh, in the history of Minnesota and everything, and how very essential immigrants are to the American experience. If you're anything but an indigenous person, you are an immigrant or descendant of immigrants. And I'm very tired of this false narrative by the Trump administration and their supporters that immigration is somehow a problem or a bad thing. It's not. It's the lifeblood of our country. It's the lifeblood of our history and this grand experiment we call democracy, which is being held together by a handful of people standing on the cold with whistles right now. So that's where my thoughts are. I'm gonna go out tomorrow patrolling. There will be some community meetings. If you're at on the east side, come by La Palmas, do some grocery shopping, get some food, or go to Centromex. Support these businesses on the east side that I love so much. Uh, that's all I've got. Be kind, Be safe, stay salty, fuck ice.